The Young and the Restless spoilers Monday update full August 26, 2024. Victor Newman leaned back in his chair, his steely gaze fixed on Kyle Abbott. The young man sat across from him, visibly tense, knowing that any conversation with Victor was bound to carry significant weight. The Newman patriarch wasn't known for wasting words, and today was no exception. "Kyle," Victor began, his voice deep and measured, "I want you to consider something carefully. Claire is a bright young woman with a lot of potential, but she's wasting it as a nanny for Harrison. You need to release her from those duties and allow her to grow in a more challenging environment. It's not just about her career, it's about her future and yours." Kyle's brow furrowed as he absorbed Victor's words. The idea of Claire being more than just Harrison's nanny hadn't really crossed his mind. But as Victor spoke, it became clear that this was more than just a suggestion. It was a directive, laced with the unspoken authority that Victor always wielded. "You're suggesting I fire my own niece?" Kyle asked, his voice tinged with uncertainty. Victor's gaze hardened. "I'm suggesting you give her the opportunity to spread her wings. If you're serious about her, and I believe you are, you need to start thinking about what's best for her in the long term. If you and Claire end up together, she'll be more than just a nanny. She'll be Harrison's mother. Do you want her to be stuck in a role that's beneath her potential?" Kyle swallowed, his mind racing. The thought of Claire as Harrison's mother was both exciting and daunting. He cared deeply for her, but he hadn't yet considered the full implications of what their future together might look like. Victor's words had struck a chord, making him realize that he needed to think beyond the present. "I understand what you're saying," Kyle finally replied. "But what if she's not ready for that kind of responsibility?" Victor leaned forward, his eyes boring into Kyle's. "You underestimate her, my boy. Claire is more capable than you think. She needs to be challenged, pushed to grow. You owe it to her, and to yourself, to make sure she's not held back by anything, or anyone." Kyle nodded slowly, realizing that Victor was right. Claire was intelligent, driven, and had so much more to offer than just being a nanny. If he truly cared for her, he needed to support her in finding a path that would allow her to reach her full potential. "I'll talk to her," Kyle said, his voice more confident. "I'll make sure she understands that this isn't about pushing her away, but about helping her grow." Victor gave a satisfied nod. "Good. Now, there's something else we need to discuss, Billy." At the mention of Billy's name, Kyle's demeanor changed. He had always had a complicated relationship with his uncle, but lately, things had been even more strained. Billy was a man on the edge, reeling from the betrayal of those closest to him, and it showed in his work, or rather, his lack of it. "Billy's in a bad place right now," Kyle admitted. "He's not focused on work at all. I don't even know if he cares about the company anymore." Victor's lips curled into a knowing smile. "Precisely. And that's where we come in. Billy's weakness is our opportunity. Chancellor Industries is too important to be left in the hands of someone who's lost his way. I intend to take advantage of this moment to secure my position, and yours." Kyle felt a chill run down his spine. He knew Victor was ruthless when it came to business, but the cold calculation in his voice was a stark reminder of just how far he was willing to go to get what he wanted. "What do you need me to do?" Kyle asked, his voice steady despite the unease he felt. "Keep an eye on Billy," Victor instructed. "Make note of his failures, his mistakes. When the time is right, we'll make our move. But remember, Kyle, this isn't just about taking down Billy. It's about ensuring that Chancellor Industries is in the hands of someone who can lead it to greater heights. That someone could very well be you." Kyle's eyes widened in surprise. The possibility of leading Chancellor Industries hadn't even crossed his mind. He had always been focused on Jabot, but now, with Victor's words ringing in his ears, he saw a new path opening before him. "I'll do what needs to be done," Kyle said, his resolve hardening. He had always admired Victor's ability to see the bigger picture, and now, he was beginning to understand the game they were playing. It wasn't just about survival, it was about domination. As Kyle left Victor's office, his mind was swirling with thoughts of Claire, Billy, and the future that lay ahead. He knew that the decisions he made in the coming days would shape not only his life but the lives of those around him. He had to tread carefully, but he also had to be decisive. There was no room for hesitation in Victor's world. The tension between Adam and Billy had reached its boiling point. Billy, still reeling from Chelsea's betrayal and the alcohol coursing through his veins, was in no state to handle Adam's provocations. Adam, never one to shy away from a confrontation, had finally had enough of Billy's antics. The situation had escalated quickly, too quickly. As Billy stood there, his face contorted with anger and confusion, Adam couldn't help but sneer. "You've always been a screw-up, Billy. You couldn't hold on to Chelsea, and you've been a disaster at Chancellor Industries. Face it, you're a failure." The words hit Billy like a freight train. His hands clenched into fists, and his vision blurred with rage. He stumbled forward, trying to close the distance between them, but Adam was quicker. In one swift motion, he pushed Billy backward, sending him sprawling to the ground. "Stay down, Billy," Adam growled, his voice low and menacing. "You've made enough of a fool of yourself for one night." But Billy wasn't done. Fueled by the alcohol and his own desperation, he scrambled to his feet, his fists raised, ready to fight. He swung wildly, but Adam easily dodged the blow. With a sharp, calculated jab, Adam's fist connected with Billy's jaw, the impact snapping Billy's head back and sending him stumbling. "Go home," Adam said coldly, standing over Billy with contempt. "You're not wanted here. Get your life together before you come after me again, you pathetic piece of trash." Billy, dazed and humiliated, staggered toward the door. His mind was a whirlwind of anger, shame, and frustration. As he reached the front gate, he turned back, shouting incoherently into the night. His voice was raw, his words slurred and barely intelligible, but the fury behind them was clear. "Damn you, Adam. Damn you and everything you stand for." Billy roared, his voice echoing through the quiet neighborhood. But there was no one to listen, no one to care. Inside the house, Adam watched through the window as Billy ranted and raved, his anger spilling out in a torrent of words that meant nothing. Adam's face was impassive, his expression unreadable. He knew Billy was a broken man, but he couldn't afford to feel sympathy. Not now. Not when his own life was a delicate balance of control and chaos. Just as Adam turned away from the window, another issue weighed heavily on his mind, Claire. The news of Victor's manipulations had reached her, and she was not taking it well. She had trusted Kyle, believed in the life they were building together, but now she was being thrust into a situation she never asked for. Victor wanted her at Newman Enterprises, and instead of asking her directly, he had concocted a plan to have Kyle fire her. Claire's fury was palpable. She stormed into the living room, her eyes blazing with anger. "Why didn't he just ask me, Adam? Why does everything have to be so damn complicated with your family? I'm not some pawn in Victor's game." Adam sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "Victor doesn't see people as individuals, Claire. He sees them as assets, pieces on a chessboard. This is how he operates. I'm sorry you got caught up in it. But what does he expect?" Claire demanded, her frustration boiling over. "Does he really think I'd just drop everything and go work for him because he says so? And Kyle, how could he even consider going along with this?" "Kyle's in a tough spot," Adam admitted. "He's trying to balance his loyalty to you with his respect for Victor. But you're right, you deserve better than this." Claire shook her head, her anger turning to resolve. "I'm not going to let Victor dictate my life. If he wants me at Newman, he can come to me directly. I won't be manipulated like this." As Claire paced the room, Adam watched her, a mixture of admiration and concern in his eyes. She was strong, independent, and unwilling to be controlled, qualities that Adam respected deeply. But he also knew how dangerous it was to stand up to Victor Newman. While the drama unfolded between Adam, Billy, and Claire, the town buzzed with another scandal. The news of Faith and Lucy's accident had spread like wildfire, dominating the headlines and sending shockwaves through Genoa City. The details were horrifying: a car speeding out of control, crashing into a cliff, leaving two teenage girls clinging to life. The whole town was on edge, but Nick and Daniel remained stoic, their faces masks of calm in the midst of the storm. They had to be strong for their daughters, for their families. But beneath the surface, they were both barely holding it together. As the days passed, the whispers grew louder, rumors that Sharon still harbored feelings for Adam, that she wanted him back in her life. The timing couldn't have been worse. Sharon was struggling with her own health issues, and the stress of Faith's accident had only made things worse. In her weakest moments, her thoughts drifted back to Adam, to the connection